The concept of cloning in fiction can sometimes bring about doppelgangers, or can be an attempt at restoring what once was lost. After Gwen Stacy's death, Professor Miles Warren, who villainously became known as the Jackal, cloned both her and Peter Parker during the original Clone Saga. In Star Wars, it's eventually learned that the popular bounty hunter, Boba Fett, was a clone of his father, Jango Fett, who was also used as the template for the clone troopers seen in the prequel trilogy. In Beast Wars, Megatron frequently used the DNA of one of the show's most popular characters, the former Predacon turned Maximal, Dinobot.
We've learned something.
Yes. From now on, I shoot my dinner salad before I eat it.
The radical departure of cars and trucks within the Transformers franchise in Beast Wars was spearheaded by Hasbro's newly acquired division of Kenner. Since Kenner was also responsible for the Jurassic Park toy line, it was no surprise that some of the Beast Wars toys would take on some of the dinosaur modes from the popular film franchise. Dinobot was a heroic Maximal, the descendants of the Autobots, who clawed his way to the top one battle after another as a combat expert who can transform into a vicious velociraptor. His toy featured a spinning tail weapon and sword. Like other First Wave Beast Wars toys, his robot mode head also had an attached mutant mask that resembled a dino skull. However, Dinobot's appearance in the cartoon had different beginnings than his bio for his toy. Instead, Dinobot was one of Megatron's Predacons, descendants of the Decepticons, who had stolen a golden disc on Cybertron. Time traveling in their ship, the Dark Side, the Predacons were pursued by the Maximal ship, the Axelon, led by Optimus Primal. The damage to their ships had them crash land on a prehistoric world that they did not realize at the time was actually Earth. Taking the form of a Jurassic Park-styled velociraptor to protect him from the harmful effects of the abundance of energon, Dinobot thought Megatron led them to the wrong planet. Voiced by the legendary Scott McNeil, Dinobot challenged Megatron in combat for leadership.
I challenge you to battle, Megatron. The winner shall lead the Predacons, and the loser shall be destroyed.
However, the cunning Megatron had Scorponok launch a surprise missile at Dinobot, which sent the challenging Predacon flying away over the horizon. Vowing revenge, Dinobot decided to join the Maximals as their leader.
I have left the Predacons to join your group as leader.
Battling Optimus Primal, Dinobot's skill in combat certainly impressed his opponent.
Well, that's just Prime!
When Primal slipped from the ledge, Dinobot's sense of honor would not allow him to claim victory in an underhanded way.
You slipped. To defeat you in such a manner would be lacking in honor. I would not have earned the right to lead.
However, the Predacons launched a surprise attack on them, and Optimus Primal saved Dinobot's life.
Going up.
From there, Dinobot became a regular member of the Maximals, much to Rat Trap's displeasure.
You've been messing with the wrong mouse, chopper face.
In combat, Dinobot's brute force and sheer determination would often prove reliable in battle. In addition to his spinning cyber tail weapon and sword, Dinobot could blast laser beams from his eyes.
And I really don't think so.
And he often armed himself with any blaster he could in the Maximal ship. Because Dinobot started out as a Predacon, he was always eager to jump headfirst into battle. He also often found himself getting into quarrels with Rat Trap.
Insolent vermin!
However, whenever the chips were down, Dinobot fought with honor amongst his fellow Maximals.
At least we go with honor.
This probably bothered Megatron, who used Dinobot's dinosaur DNA and his data tracks stored at the Predacon base to create a completely biological, non-transforming clone in the episode Double Dinobot. After Pterosaur trapped the real Dinobot in a cave, the clone tried to trick the other Maximals so that Megatron could take over the Maximal base. However, the real Dinobot eventually returned to confront his clone.
Fortunately, I don't share your stupid sense of honor.
After the two fought, the real Dinobot apparently ate his clone. In the second season, Dinobot realized that the planet that they were on was indeed the Earth, after the Planet Buster moon was destroyed. He stole the golden discs from Megatron, one of which was originating from an alien device, and he began to study their significance. However, this led him to the philosophical question on whether or not we are the masters of our own destiny, and if we could control our own fate.
I could destroy them! But no, it would be a coward's answer. I will know the truth instead. Then it will be either them or me.
Trying to reshape his future, Dinobot rejoined Megatron and returned the first golden disc to him in the episode Maximal No More. However, when faced with the order to kill his former teammate Rat Trap, Dinobot realized his place and rejoined the Maximals.
I must discuss something of great importance with you.
Time enough for that back at base. See you there.
In the episode Code of Hero, Megatron tested the information on the golden disc by having Rampage destroy a mountain. Doing so changed the recording's image, proving that history can actually be rewritten.
With the golden disc, Megatron's power is limitless.
He then decides to launch a full-scale assault on a valley filled with early anthropoids, hoping to eliminate the human race before it ever comes to be. Being the closest one there, Dinobot realizes that Megatron is too powerful with the knowledge on the disc and must be stopped, no matter the cost.
I am a warrior. The battle be joined.
While the other Maximals are en route, Dinobot single-handedly takes on every single Predacon, taking extensive damage in the process.
What's a warrior without weapons? A warrior still.
However, Megatron still remains, holding one of the anthropoids hostage. Damaged beyond repair, Dinobot improvises in making a hammer from a stick and stone, knocking the golden disc away from Megatron. He uses the last of his strength to destroy the golden disc when the other Maximals arrive. Unfortunately, they arrive too late to save him.
Tell my tale to those who ask. Tell it truly. The evil deeds, along with the good, and let me be judged accordingly. The rest is silent.
After his spark leaves his body, Dinobot's body is cremated, as the Maximals grieve over his death.
He lived a warrior and died a hero. Let his spark join the Matrix, the greatest of Cybertron.
This did not stop Megatron from using Dinobot's cells for cloning, though. In the third season episode, Cutting Edge, Megatron creates a group of Cyberraptors using the Transmetal Driver, a piece of technology created by an alien species known as the Vok. He sends them to attack the village of anthropoids, but the Maximals end up destroying them. Megatron then realizes that the clones would be useless without a spark to give them life. Megatron then uses a blank protoform in the episode Feral Scream, along with Dinobot's CNA, the Transmetal Driver, and a portion of Rampage's mutant spark to create a brand new Transmetal 2 Dinobot, whom is completely loyal to Megatron. This new vicious Frankenstein's monster would be unleashed upon the Maximals, and he took no guff from the likes of Waspinator.
I am the plan.
Because part of Rampage's spark was housed within his chest, he could help Megatron keep the giant crab in check without any harm to himself. However, in the series finale, Megatron and Dinobot would find the original Decepticon ship, the Nemesis, that shot down the Ark back in G1. Trying to stop Megatron, Depth Charge challenged Rampage underwater, where the vengeful Maximal drove an Energon spike directly into Rampage's spark.
Take it straight to the pit, you sickening piece of slime.
This caused both Depth Charge and Rampage to explode, which had an adverse effect on Dinobot. Feeling that his spark was now complete with the destruction of Rampage,
My own spark is changed. It feels at last complete.
Dinobot began to be flooded with memories of the original Dinobot, including his sense of honor, and he began to actively betray Megatron. He sent a message to Rhinox about an Autobot shuttle aboard the Ark and refused to fire the Decepticon's warship's fusion cannon.
What possible reason do you have to disobey me? I am your master. I am your creator.
And I have my honor.
Rhinox then flies the Autobot shuttle through the Nemesis's bridge, taking Megatron along with him. As the Nemesis begins to crash, Optimus Primal tries to convince Dinobot to save himself. Instead, Dinobot chooses to sacrifice himself, wishing Optimus farewell as the bridge explodes and the Nemesis crashes. While this was a fitting end to the Dinobot clone, many fans wondered why Dinobot 2 began to remember events from the original Dinobot, especially considering that memories of Dinobot's death weren't even backed up in any way. In the episode Bad Spark, Dinobot was seen connected to the Axelon's computers. While it wasn't made clear why he was doing so, there was an unproduced episode titled Dark Glass that would have explained exactly why. Taking place after the creation of Dinobot 2 in Season 3, the episode would have had Rat Trap finding out that the original Dinobot backed up his core consciousness and data tracks, as we saw in Bad Spark. Hoping to bring back his friend, Rat Trap suggests that they implant the backup into the new Dinobot. However, Optimus Primal forbids it, concluding that this new Dinobot might gain knowledge on how to get through the Maximal's defenses. Ignoring Primal's orders, Rat Trap somehow installs it into the new Dinobot, and a battle within the clone's mind would have the original Dinobot battling Dinobot 2 for dominance before the new Dinobot eventually regains control. Rat Trap is then forced to come to terms in accepting that his old pal is truly dead. The script for the episode was submitted, but it was ultimately rejected, though the reason for this has been highly contested. Some have said it was too dark or it didn't have enough action. Whatever the reasons, the episode's absence certainly left an interesting plot hole. In place of Dark Glass was the episode Go With The Flow, which featured Megatron capturing an anthropoid child to help in assembling a huge cannon meant to destroy the Maximals. While Dark Glass was never produced, it would have explained why Dinobot 2 betrayed Megatron after Rampage was destroyed. However, the flashback scene in the episode featured moments of Dinobot's battle and Optimus Primal's speech seen in Code of Hero. Being that Dinobot's backup to the Axelon took place before this, the inclusion of Dark Glass still doesn't fully explain everything. However, according to the Transformers Wiki, when Hasbro inducted Dinobot into the Transformers Hall of Fame in 2010, they stated that his spirit somehow returned from beyond to influence the clone.
Tell me, Megatron, where's the honor in that?
You dare use the intro to me.
In order for that to make sense, we have to take two things into consideration. Optimus Primal died at the end of Season 1, destroying the Vox Planet Buster. The transwarp explosion it caused allowed Rhinox to enter the Matrix through the rift, bringing Primal's spark back into a blank protoform. This gave Optimus Primal his transmetal upgrade.
Well, that's just prime.
Also, Dinobot 2 was given life using half of Rampage's mutant spark, which was created to replicate the mutation in Starscream's spark. Though the separation made both Rampage and Dinobot 2 mortal, they were still connected, and Dinobot 2 could even heal himself like Rampage.
Your first mistake, but not your last.
When Rampage died, it's possible that an opening within the Matrix allowed the original Dinobot to merge with his clone, thus giving him the memories of Code of Hero and his sense of honor. It was this honor that caused Dinobot 2 to sacrifice himself.
Dinobot, save yourself!
Optimus Prime.
Once again proving that the Predacon turned Maximal was the master of his own destiny.
Then my demise is but moments from the confirmation. I cannot live if not the master of my fate.
But what do you think? How did Dinobot 2 recall the life of the original Dinobot? Did Dark Glass take place off camera? And how did Dinobot's spark influence his clone? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. I'd like to thank my patrons and my channel members for your support. I've got many more Transformers discussion videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
There he is, my little guy. There he is, my little